Assassin's Creed Shadow releases on November 15th, and we have you covered with exclusive footage, pictures, and information directly from Ubisoft, plus a giveaway for this game that you can get a free code for. All you got to do is subscribe, leave a comment, as well as check out the description for the actual information on other ways to enter and lock in because it's gonna be a blast. I'm very excited about this game. Before we get started, I will say I am partnered with Ubisoft. They hooked me up with this content, so I just want to take a moment to thank them, allowing me to partner up. But as you guys know, I've been a big fan of Assassin's Creed for 20 years. It feels like forever since I've been gaming, but man, oh man, this series is special. And this game already has proven its own special. We wanted something in Japan, and not only did we get that, but we have two protagonists. You're looking at a farmer who was training to be a shinobi, who ends up getting their village attacked, as you can see. But she is something special because we are going to be playing as her. Then we're going to be switching over to the first ever historical figure playable character in Assassin's Creed. You know, Assassin's Creed has so many great characters. Yosuke is the most legendary first black samurai ever in history, and they have information on him in the real world, but now we're going to get the video game version with some special things that we're going to talk about when it comes to the gameplay, which, as you can see, he is a true samurai, meaning he's not going to be going around stealthing and playing that way. He's more of the honorable fighter. He's going to challenge people and take the fight to them, compared to our female character, Naoe. She is actually a stealth player. And so she has a lot of stealth that he might not have. And this is going to make a dynamic experience where you're allowed to switch back and forth. It's something that developers told me. You're going to be able to switch back and forth at any time between missions and things like that. And I don't know the official information until they show the gameplay of that happening. It's probably not going to be during combat. It might be after, right before you get into combat. Just a quick call in and switch over. I think that is good enough for me because sometimes you never know. If you fight a boss, you want to pull out the samurai. And if you're just going through the open world, I'll probably play as the ninja because she has a lot of unique things, like the grapple hook, which we'll talk about later. Talking about grapple hook, as you can see, as a samurai, you have some power to you, you have some force. And one thing I can tell you is I've already seen the visuals of these characters and who's more formidable from the enemy types using more armor and things like that and just being a lot more powerful. So that makes it very interesting with combat, depending on how they're going to play this. They've explained that our lovely Nao, she actually does have some unique aspects where she's more powerful stealth wise, but the question isn't about her stealth, it's about the actual combat. Will she be worth fighting? So those are the questions we have, but I love the idea of giving us the freedom to play with a more stealthy character and not just be a hack and slash if we don't want it to be. And for those that do want it, hey, more power to you. I'll end up playing it as well from time to time, but I do love my stealth. And so right now you're watching some behind the scenes footage of some of the actual concept development, motion capture and more from this game. Hope it's useful and exciting for you to just see how this all comes to be as we go forward. But I did want to break down more of the gameplay and give you guys a quick rundown on how this is all working. Right? First and foremost, the environment does play a role because you could probably stealth a little better in the rain, but the enemies will be grouped up trying to hide from the rain in buildings and things like that. So you have a harder time stealthing. So it's going to be interesting because they broke that down that the environment will change the dynamics of the of the enemies and all of it. So I'm curious on how that will play out, and I will have you covered here with a lot of good details about what the game will have to offer when it comes to these things. And I wanted to touch on a lot more when it comes to the spy network system that they have. It's a very unique thing that I'm interested to hear more about. And I want to try to showcase a little bit of footage here when it comes to the network. So, what we're being told is you're going to be able to build relationships or bonds and work with others. They're going to be your eyes and ears out there, possibly doing some stuff that we've seen in other previous Assassin's Creed games. Now, the question there is how intuitive is it? As you can see in this specific trailer, she's taking a note from a informant and then she's passing it along to our buddy here. Now, the question is, will this be a big part of the game? How in depth is it going to be? Or is it just something extra that's very cool, first of all, for assassins to have this spy system? But it is a spy network. So that is super interesting to me personally. And I'm interested in to see how that plays out. Now, I want to touch on a couple things, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some very cool stills. But I wanted to touch on the overall experience. One of the things that the devs said is that they're going to have targets that you're trying to get to. So much like the Assassin's Creed games that we've known, where you're looking for information, you're trying to find a target, and you're getting through different people, different enemies, and so on, which is very cool in my opinion. That's back. Now, the question is they've said that they've renewed everything from exploration to your stealth and a variety of different mechanics within the games. They've remade it. So the question is, how good will that be? And what would it be like? Okay, that's the bigger question that we have for this game. It's a lot of cool stuff, very interesting, in my opinion. I'm super curious about it. As you can see right here, I want to take a moment talk about my playstyle. Well, I will be stealthing. I just feel like it's a puzzle when you stealth, and it takes a lot of skill to do it right. There's enemies placed in different areas, and you take out a specific enemy and you go from there. This is the type of mechanics I absolutely love in video games when it comes to stealth and Assassin's Creed specifically. But we do have the one and the only samurai style. And if you played other samurai games, you know that they're going to just knock on the front door and attack you. So that is such a cool dynamic. And when we watch both these characters, a very intense scenario with them, I'm so curious on how that would play out. And just to kind of touch on a couple things, as you can see, some of these guys have specific designs. See, you have two swords, but normally you use one. The second one will be for assassinations, as we know, and that is always good. But there's plenty of characters in this game and situations I want to showcase. Some of the female character where she has her grapple hook. She has some items in here that we're getting a sneak peek of. We'll talk about later and break down more when we do get a chance to give you guys all that information. Now, that's the core of some of the things that are revealed already and that I'm allowed to talk about. I will have tons of more. I'm talking about a lot more when it comes to this game. Right now, I'm just giving you a teaser to what's coming. I want to end this with the overall experience. You're in Japan in 1579, and this is an era where you have a lot of corruptive foreigners invading the lands. You of course the establishment, they're struggling, they're going through a lot of turmoil. There's so much going on. And these two characters are going to be in a ever-changing world. It's captivating as it seems. and you have a shinobi assassin and a legendary samurai. And so this to me is spectacular. And then you have the Ubisoft Quebec team who's experienced and can give us something special. I'm looking at more of Origin and Odyssey style of a game with more stealth focus than those two combined, in my opinion. And so intertwining both these two characters, intertwining the universe with all of the different elements makes it very special, in my opinion. You have things like the dynamic world and destruction. You can break certain environment things that which we'll see in the future. Right now, in June 10th, will be Ubisoft Forward, and I will be covering that drastically big time for you guys with more reveals as well, which I believe they'll have a big gameplay for you guys at that time. Besides that, I am just here trying to give you guys the fun and exciting stuff that we know so far. And I want to close this off with the giveaway to let you know, go check that out right now. All you got to do is subscribe, leave a comment, and you're going to have a chance to win. But the actual details on how to win and enter different ways is also in the description. So go check that out right now. Go ahead and leave some thoughts and opinions of this in the comments. See you there. Peace.